Opening day is breathing down our necks, and the Toronto Blue Jays front office just dropped a massive roster bomb that completely reshapes our bench and our bullpen for the upcoming season. According to Shir Davidi over at Sportsnet, the Blue Jays are officially designating infielder Leo Jimenez for assignment, ending a massive positional battle. While Mitch Bannon of The Athletic is reporting that Rule 5 draft pick Spencer Miles has shockingly made the opening day roster. This is the kind of ruthless, down-to-the-wire decision-making that defines a front office feeling the immense pressure of an AL East battle. We are talking about a team that is supposedly all in, making a massive gamble on a pitcher with barely any professional experience, while simultaneously cutting ties with a homegrown prospect who has been in the Toronto system for 8 long years. Let's break down exactly what these moves mean for the roster, the strategy, and the immediate future of this ball club. Starting with the bullpen shocker, the inclusion of Spencer Miles on the opening day roster is a massive roll of the dice by this management group. Miles, a 25-year-old right-hander, was selected in the Rule 5 draft from the San Francisco Giants organization. He has officially beaten out righty Chase Lee for that final middle bullpen spot. But here is where the story gets absolutely wild. Miles has barely pitched since being drafted in the 4th round back in 2022. We are talking about a guy whose career was derailed by a severe back injury, followed immediately by Tommy John surgery. He has a grand total of 14 2/3 innings of experience in the minor leagues. Let that sink in. The Giants left him off their 40-man roster because they heavily doubted any contending club would be crazy enough to stash a pitcher with virtually zero professional track record on an active major league roster. Yet here are the Toronto Blue Jays, a team with deep postseason push aspirations, handing him the ball. Why? Because the raw stuff is absolutely undeniable. Baseball America recently ranked him as the 22nd best prospect in the Jays system during the offseason, crediting him with a heavy fastball that sits comfortably in the mid-90s and a devastating sharp curveball. During the spring training, Miles showcased exactly why the front office is infatuated with his ceiling. In 9 2/3 innings, he struck out 11 batters. Yes, he gave up 4 earned runs on 11 hits and walked 5, but the swing and miss potential was glaringly obvious. Every Jays fan knows that surviving the AL East requires a bullpen that can miss bats in high-leverage situations. The front office is looking at the current landscape, looking at the heavy hitters in New York and Baltimore, and deciding that they cannot afford to pass up on elite raw stuff, even if it comes with massive developmental risk. However, making the opening day roster does not guarantee Miles a permanent locker at the Rogers Center. Because of his Rule 5 status, he has to perform immediately. If he falters, the Jays will be forced to place him on waivers and offer him back to San Francisco. There is zero margin for error here. He is not here for a pure developmental ride. He is here to get crucial outs. Now let's pivot to the heartbreaking side of the business, the designation for assignment of Leo Jimenez. This is a tough pill to swallow for the Prospect Watch community. Himenez has been grinding in the Blue Jays system for 8 seasons. The Panamanian infielder was long viewed as one of the most fundamentally sound middle infielders in the pipeline, praised for his elite bat-to-ball skills and his slick defensive versatility up the middle. But baseball is an unforgiving business, and Himenez simply ran out of minor league options. The front office was backed into a corner. They had to decide whether to keep Himenez on the active roster as a utility shortstop, knowing he couldn't be sent down to the Buffalo Bisons without passing through waivers, or hand that final bench spot to a more experienced, potent right-handed bat in Davis Schneider. They chose Schneider, and frankly, looking at the offensive inconsistencies of this lineup, you can understand why. 2 seasons ago, the Jays gave the right-handed hitting Himenez a real look, handing him 210 plate appearances as a rookie. The results were underwhelming. He slashed .229, .329, .358 with a concerning 28% strikeout rate. Last season, a combination of nagging injuries and a much more crowded, stronger infield limited him to just 18 games at the major league level. Even when he was sent down to AAA Buffalo, he slashed .271, .416, .431. Those are respectable on-base numbers, driven by a good walk rate, but the lack of impact power and the high strikeout numbers remained a red flag. Looking at the roster moves today, the bench construction is completely finalized. You have Miles Straw providing elite outfield defense and speed, Nathan Lukes as the versatile left-handed outfield bat, Tyler Himenez serving as the backup catcher, and now Davis Schneider bringing that necessary right-handed pop. To cover the shortstop position when the starters need a breather, the Jays will rely heavily on Ernie Clement. Clement has proven he can handle the defensive rigors of short, allowing Schneider to slide into second base when needed. This leaves Himenez in a state of limbo. The Blue Jays now have a 5-day window to try and orchestrate a minor trade. Given his defensive pedigree and his age, it is highly likely that a rebuilding organization will take a flyer on him. If the Jays can't find a trade partner, he hits the waiver wire, and his time in Toronto will officially come to an unceremonious end. It is always tough to see a homegrown kid get cut right before the season starts, but this is the harsh reality of a team that believes its championship window is right now. This brings us to the strategic outlook and how these moves impact the manager's chessboard. When you look at the core of this team, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., George Springer, Kevin Gausman, these veterans need a supporting cast that is ready to contribute from pitch one of Game 1. By keeping Davis Schneider over Leo Jimenez, the manager is prioritizing offensive upside and run production off the bench. Schneider has shown flashes of brilliance, and in late-inning situations at the Rogers Center, having a guy who can accidentally hit one into the second deck is far more valuable than a defensive replacement who struggles to make hard contact. On the pitching side, the inclusion of Spencer Miles adds a fascinating layer of volatility to the bullpen. Kevin Gausman and the rest of the starting rotation are going to need a bridge to the back end of the bullpen. If Miles can harness his 95-mile-per-hour heater and that biting curveball, he could become a massive weapon in the middle innings. But if his command wavers, it puts immense stress on the rest of the relief corps. It is a high-risk, high-reward play by a front office that knows they need to find hidden gems to compete with the financial juggernauts of their division. We also have to touch on the other Rule 5 casualty today, Angel Bastardo. The Jays announced over the weekend that they would not be retaining the 23-year-old right-hander who was plucked from the Boston Red Sox organization. Bastardo missed the entire 2025 season recovering from Tommy John surgery. While he has significantly more minor league experience than Miles, his performance this spring training was alarming. In just 7 2/3 innings, he issued 7 walks and threw 4 wild pitches. The command was completely absent. Because of Rule 5 stipulations regarding injured players, the Jays would have had to keep him on the active roster for 90 days once healthy. Keeping 2 Rule 5 picks in a contending bullpen is organizational suicide. So Bastardo will be placed on waivers and likely offered back to Boston. At the very least, the kid made a cool $760,000 in major league minimum salary while rehabbing on the IL, so you can't feel too bad for him financially. So, what is the pulse of the city right now? If you tune into Sportsnet or TSN, or if you just scroll through the chaotic landscape of Blue Jays Twitter and X, the fan sentiment is a massive mixed bag of anxiety and cautious optimism. The media is heavily scrutinizing the Spencer Miles decision. Toronto pundits are questioning whether a team with World Series aspirations should be using a critical bullpen spot on a guy with 14 minor league innings. It feels like a move a 70-win team makes, not a 90-win team. However, the analytics community is buzzing about his spin rates and raw stuff, arguing that modern baseball is all about stuff over experience. As for Leo Jimenez, the fans are mostly understanding, albeit a bit nostalgic. Blue Jays Nation has watched him grow up in the system, but the consensus is that Davis Schneider simply offers more immediate value to a lineup that desperately needs right-handed slugging. There is a palpable sense of urgency in the air. The fans are tired of moral victories. They want a deep postseason run, and they understand that tough, unpopular cuts are part of building a championship-caliber 26-man roster. In my opinion, The front office made the absolute correct, albeit ruthless, decisions today. You cannot hold onto a prospect purely out of sentimentality when you are trying to win the American League East. Leo Jimenez needs a fresh start in an organization where he can get 500 at-bats without the pressure of a pennant race. And as for Spencer Miles, I love the gamble. You cannot teach a mid-90s fastball with elite secondary action. If he blows up, you cut bait and move on. If he hits, you just found a high-leverage reliever for absolutely nothing. That is how smart front offices operate on the margins. Blue Jays Nation, I want to hear from you right now. Did the front office make a mistake by letting Leo Jimenez go? And are you terrified of trusting Spencer Miles in the bullpen? Drop a Go Jays in the comments below and let me know your thoughts on the finalized opening day roster. If you want relentless daily coverage of everything happening at the Rogers Center, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are just getting started. Go Jays!